What is up, everybody? This is Erik, the one and only Bear Collector. First of all, again, let me apologize for my voice. I'm getting a little bit better from my bout with the cold. But anyways, today I will be reviewing a game that I've had forever. A game that I finally got the monkey off my back and beating it. A game that I really enjoy, but it's one of those games that it was just kind of and that game is the Addams Family Values for the SNES. Now, this game was made by Ocean back in 1995, and it's a movie-based game based on the sequel of the Addams Family movie, The Addams Family Values. And this time around, instead of playing as Gomez, you play as Fester, as Uncle Fester, who is out to save his little nephew, Pubert Addams, from his estranged wife, Debbie, and also taking back the Addams Family Mansion. Now, the game is basically a overhead Zelda clone action adventure RPG. Also very reminiscent to, I call this game Fester's Quest 2.0, with the exception of the 3D dungeons, but that's just loosely calling it that because it reminds me so much of Fester's Quest. But Fester's Quest is a story for another day. But anyways, this game is, like I mentioned, it's a action adventure game, overhead Zelda clone. You play as Uncle Fester. You get help from other Addams Family members, from Gomez, Morticia, Granny, the kids, on Wednesday, and Pugsley and Lurch and Thing. You go out through the area of the mansion, which is humongous. You go through forest, swamps, gardens, graveyards, mountains, deserts, even ice mountains and morgues, to name a few. The game has 8 dungeons that you need to explore in order to get key items to make it to the mansion and meet up with Debbie and rescue Pubert, baby Pubert. So yeah, pretty cool game. One thing though, I have my a little bit of a gripe with this game. So the way I got this game was way back in the days. I remember buying my original copy at Kmart in San Leandro. For those of you who remember Kmart back in the days in that area, I remember it was like in a bargain bin and I got it. So I bought the game. I tried beating it, but it was just very difficult. Fast forward over the years, there's also a Genesis version of the game. They're exactly identical, less albeit the graphics and you know, because of the consoles, but it's pretty much the same game. I tried beating the Genesis version, I tried beating this version, but then finally, after all these years, I finally beat it right around the time that I got sick. So right after I beat it, I really got sick, so haven't really played much. But this was the last game that I did a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, finally beat it. But although the game is really good, there are a couple of gripes that I have in the game. Actually, I have 3. First one is the control of Uncle Fester. You know, his main weapon is a lightning bolt, like kind of like the Ghostbusters beam type of lightning bolt. Very cool weapon, in my opinion. However, hit detection is really difficult. So if you press and hold the button, you'll be shooting the beam, but then you can move Uncle Fester, which makes quicker enemies go and hit you. That's one of my gripes about that. And of course the controls, but other than that is not a big issue compared to the next ones. The next one is a map. You do get a map at the very beginning. Gomez gives you a journal, which is kind of like a lame little excuse of a map. Like I said earlier, this game is humongous. It's huge. Places that you go visit, you have to backtrack and sometimes go back to them again, and it makes it really difficult to remember if you stop playing the game. Because this happened to me one time. I stopped playing the game, then I forgot where I left off, which I would forget and then have to play. I remember playing one evening that I had a time to play it. I spent most of my time trying to remember what I did. So that's one of the things. The map is very scarce. It's a very rinky-dink map. Not only that, when you go to the dungeons, you don't get a map. So that makes it very difficult. And then finally, the worst thing about this game is the save feature of it. Now, Addams Family Value, you save your game through a password. The only way you get a password is talking to Cousin It. Now, Cousin It is located in the swamps, so that's the only place where you can get a password. So imagine going through a bunch of locations and dungeons and then having to save your game and stop. You have to backtrack all the way to where Cousin It is at. That was the biggest gripe, and one of the reasons why it took me a really long time to beat the game, because I just got really lazy with that. But all in all, aside from all of these things, it's a really good game. I really recommend it. I recommend you guys playing it. It's not really an expensive game to own. I know my copy wasn't that expensive, so I haven't checked to see how much it cost as the making of the video. I'll post if I do find out that it's expensive to own. I will post it in the comments or add it in the below in the screen or whatnot. But as far as the game is not that expensive. Now, do I recommend it? Yes. Even though it took me forever to beat it, I think it's a really fun little Zelda clone. But I will give you a couple of pointers. First of all, play it with a guide. I would highly recommend you guys finding a guide at Game FAQs or whatnot or some other place and get a good guide. Because if you, like I mentioned, if you stop playing it for a while, you will forget where you left off. You know, maybe, depending on how your memory is. Like my memory's kind of whack. So, but for other individuals, it might be okay. But that's a major thing. The other thing that I would say, play it with a cheat that gives you infinite health. Last thing you want to do is die when you're far away and you don't save and you die. Then you have to backtrack all over again and get the items that you need. And then finally, my recommendation would be, if you want a challenge, play it as a cartridge. If not, I recommend playing it as an emulator, because that way you're able to save wherever and it's much, much simpler. I think those are the best ways you can enjoy this game. Other than that, it's going to be very challenging, but all in all, it's a very good game. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy the review. I kind of went over, I played like the very first dungeon, the first piece of the dungeon, and made it to Cousin It, so you guys know where the password is at, to the very first spot. So that way you guys can see what you go through in the game. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy the review. I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys take care. Peace out.